Okay, so if you've ever followed a skincare recipe you found online and you ended up with something, well, greasy or separated or even a little moldy, you are in the right place. We're about to dig into the AZ of natural cosmetic formulation to figure out how you can leave all that frustration behind and start making skincare that's safe, stable, and honestly, truly professional. Let's get into it. Right off the bat, we need to talk about the one big thing that separates amateurs from pros. It's all about making the jump from following recipes to creating formulas. Think about it. A recipe is just guesswork. A formula, that's all about precision. A recipe is inconsistent and frankly can be unsafe. But a formula is stable, safe, and you can scale it up perfectly. It's kind of like the difference between being a home cook and being a chemist. So let's get right to the heart of it. Why do those internet recipes fail so often? Why do they lead to so much disappointment? Well, the answer is actually pretty simple, and it's what's been holding you back from unlocking your real potential. The main culprit here is the stuff we all know from the kitchen: cups, tablespoons, and drops. Now, those are great if you're baking cookies, but for cosmetics, they're just wildly imprecise. The density of your shea butter can change, the size of a drop from your dropper varies every single time, and all that leads to a totally different product with every batch. And this right here just perfectly illustrates the whole problem. I mean, really think about it. Let's say you create the most amazing 50 milliliter face cream. How are you going to make a 500 milliliter batch to sell, or even just to share? What's 10 times a pinch? You can't do it. Recipes completely trap you in a single, unrepeatable batch, which makes any kind of consistency totally impossible. All right, so if recipes are the problem, then what in the world is the solution? Let's talk about the professional standard that is going to completely change the way you approach this. It's going to make sure every single batch is as perfect as the last one and unlock so much creativity. This right here, this is the secret. It's all about weight and percentages. When you measure every single ingredient in grams on a digital scale, you get absolute precision. And when you define your formula in percentages, you're basically creating a master blueprint that you can scale to any size you want, from a tiny little sample pot to a massive production run. Just take a look at this. The kitchen recipe on the left? It's so vague, so hard to reproduce. But the professional formula on the right? That is a clear, precise language that anyone can understand. 20% shea butter is always 20% shea butter. It doesn't matter if you're making a 100-gram jar or a 10-kilogram tub. This is how you finally get control over your creations. So once you've got the precision down, the next level is really understanding what your ingredients are actually doing. To get beyond just copying other people, you have to learn to speak the language of formulation. First up, let's talk about emollients. These are your heavy lifters, your workhorse oils and butters. We're talking things like jojoba oil or mango butter. Their job is to give you that immediate feeling of softness and smoothness on your skin. They work by filling in the tiny little gaps between your skin cells, which is what gives you that nice, supple texture. Next, we have humectants. And these things are basically moisture magnets. Seriously, ingredients like glycerin literally pull water molecules out of the air or from deeper layers of your own skin and draw them right to the surface. This is what provides that true deep hydration, not just a surface-level feeling. And finally, you have got to lock all that good stuff in, and that is the job of an occlusive. Ingredients like beeswax or even heavier butters like shea butter create a physical barrier on the skin. This barrier stops all that water that the humectants brought in from just evaporating away into thin air. A really good moisturizer will have a balance of all three of these. Okay, let's get serious for a minute and talk about the single most important part of this entire process. Because this isn't just about making products that feel nice, it's about making products that are safe. And this part is absolutely non-negotiable. The rule is so simple. If you add water or aloe vera juice or really any water-based ingredient to a product, you have just created the perfect breeding ground for bacteria, mold, and yeast. Without a proper broad-spectrum preservative, that beautiful cream you made can turn into a dangerous microbial soup in just a matter of days. And we need to clear up a huge and pretty dangerous myth right now. Vitamin E and rosemary extract are antioxidants. They are fantastic at stopping your oils from going rancid, but they do absolutely nothing to stop bacteria or mold. They are not preservatives, and it is just plain unsafe to use them like they are. The other pillar of safety is pH. Your skin has this amazing natural protective layer called the acid mantle, and it sits at a slightly acidic pH of about 5.5. If you make a product that's too alkaline, too high on the pH scale, you'll strip that protective mantle away, leaving your skin vulnerable to irritation and damage. So you always have to test and adjust your product's pH. So now that we've gone through the science, let's look at how these professional skills are really the foundation for building a brand that customers can actually trust. Because it's about so much more than just what's in the bottle. You've probably heard this term greenwashing before, right? It's when companies use trendy buzzwords like natural or botanical on the front of the label to kind of distract you from a list of not so great synthetic ingredients on the back. The beauty is when you formulate professionally, you don't need to hide anything. A truly ethical, natural brand is built on integrity. It's about knowing exactly where your ingredients come from, formulating with real intention, and being completely transparent with your customers. This is how you build real loyalty and how you stand out in what is a very crowded market. And a huge part of that transparency is using the industry's universal language, INCI. It stands for International Nomenclature of Cosmetic Ingredients. When you use these official, standardized names on your labels, it shows your customers and regulators that you're a serious professional brand that knows what it's doing. And really, this is the ultimate goal: to move beyond just copying what other people have done and to start creating your own unique, beautiful, and effective products that are tailored to solve specific skin concerns. This is the amazing freedom that true formulation knowledge gives you. You know, the journey from just following recipes to actually creating formulas is a really powerful one. It gives you the confidence to know exactly what is in your skincare and why it works. So the only question left is, with this knowledge, what are you going to create first? A super hydrating serum? A luxurious body butter? The possibilities are now completely yours to formulate.